Hello students, it's me, Miss Katie, that vegan teacher, and today we're going to be talking about something that happened in school when I used to teach in the school system. I am very interested in the subject of discipline and of the subject of guilt and consequences and the way society is going right now. So let's first talk about why we have rules in society. Let's say something like a red light. A red light is there for what? To make sure that you stop so that people don't get hurt. It's kind of a way of saying, we love you, we care about you, we don't want you to bang into other people by accident. And so we're all going to be following the rules of the road, and that includes red lights and stop signs, and also driving on the right side of the road, and that sort of thing. If you're anywhere except England, I guess is where they drive on the other side. But anyway, you get the idea. So what happened to me in the school system is that I started to realize that students did not have consequences to their bad behavior. And I think this is part of the problem of society. And I think it's getting worse. And I'd like you to tell me what you think. When you observe society's children and also their parents, what do you think is happening? Do you think that we have a society that is going in the right direction right now? Or do you think that we need to take a big turn and get back on the right path? Here's an example that happened when I was teaching at one of the schools that I was at. I taught English as a second language to French students, so I taught the whole school, went around and taught the whole school. But because the school was very big, there were actually two of us. So two of us were teaching the whole school. So I was full-time working. I had a bunch of different classes, and my colleague also did. And this colleague of mine was constantly complaining to me during breaks and lunch and after school that she had students that were misbehaving, and I also had students that were misbehaving, and she had parents that were not very helpful, and I had parents that were not very helpful. So we used to talk a little bit about what's going on with our kids, and that's what teachers do. We call them our kids, even though they're not really our kids, but it feels like it sometimes. So this teacher had a grade 6 student who was misbehaving, not doing his homework, not bringing in his assignments, not doing his tests properly, not being kind in class, being disruptive, ended up having to stand in the hall or go in the hall, or they had to call for helpers to take him away and put him into another class often, and that sort of thing. And pretty much teachers who are teaching English as a second language or music, it's pretty regular that there's at least always one or two kids in the class who just disrupt it for everyone else, unfortunately. And like a mosquito in the room, they are pretty aggravating, and there is nothing that we can much do about them because of the way the system is set up. So this teacher was told, as was I, that we could only fail a certain amount of students in the year. So whether they did their work or not, it didn't matter. We had to choose the worst ones, and those out of those, fail those, but not the rest, which is kind of crazy because it really doesn't reflect on their ability on the report cards. And I was pretty shocked when I first heard this. I said, what do you mean we can only fail certain ones? If these were the assignments, these are the measuring criteria, and 25% of the class needs to fail, then those children should fail. And she said, no, you can't do that. Just pick in every class 5 of them to fail and the rest all pass. I was like, okay. So anyway, my colleague, at the end of the school year, she brought in this kid into our office. We had an office that we shared, and there were other people there too. There was kind of people coming and going. There was a photocopier in the office and that sort of thing, and we were on the corner there. And again, teaching English as a second language in French schools. So I heard her talking to this boy. She said to him, look, if you just do this one last assignment, this is like at the end of the school year, you just do this assignment. If you just do it, I will pass you for the year. And I thought to myself, am I hearing right? And after he left, I said, isn't this the kid that you said did not pass a single test all year? She said, yeah. And this is a kid who also disrupted constantly all year. Yeah. And I said, and you're going to pass him if he just does the assignment, whether he does it well or not. She goes, yeah, because I want the principal off my back and I want the parents off my back and I just want to finish the school year. And that's it. And I said, how do you think that this is going to go over as we proceed through society like this? How do you think that this kid is going to end up in life? And she said, there's nothing I can do. We can't save them all, she said. We can't. So her goal, actually, she didn't want to fail anybody because she wanted to be known as the good teacher, the one who was able to get all the kids to do their work. And this is really a really fascinating thing, right? Teachers have a lot of liberty. They can give kids all kinds of inflated grades if they want to, and it can make them look like they're a great teacher. And then a teacher who actually gives students what they deserve, it might make it look like that teacher is a terrible teacher, a terrible communicator, and unable to engage with the kids, not enthusiastic enough, even though that teacher might be doing a song and a dance and being, disciplining the kids, but also loving them and spending extra time with them, and calling the parents repeatedly and following up and writing, putting lots of stickers in their agendas and all of this stuff. In the end, what I see as a problem is that there are not enough consequences for kids and for their parents. I personally think that parents should also have a report card, not just the kids. And this is a unique idea that I came up with, and I think it should be very easy to mark down. Like, did you follow through? Did you, for example, if we send a note home to the parent and the parent is supposed to sign it to show that they saw it, did they do it? Did the parent do the homework to sign the assignment? Or did the parent respond and follow up when we asked them to give some sort of consequences at home, such as removal of TV time or whatever, as a way to help us, because we as teachers cannot really give any consequences. So what did the parents do to show that they were in solidarity with the teacher? Did they make sure that the kid did whatever needs to be done? I mean, sometimes it could be as simple as the kid is not wearing their uniform in gym class, and the gym teacher will write notes all the time saying, the kid's not in uniform, and the parent's responsibility is to wash the uniform and make sure it's in the kid's bag. And, the parents can do a lot at home to follow up. If there was reading to do, did the parent make sure that the child read what needed to be read? That sort of thing. So I think there should be a report card for parents in order to make sure that they do their job, since teachers are working so hard to raise their children. And I know it sounds weird saying that, but we are with them many, many hours of the day. And sometimes teachers seem to know their kids better than the parents do, because sometimes kids confide in their teachers and they tell them all kinds of stories about what happens at home. And sometimes it's pretty horrifying. I have learned that one needs to keep a distance from students in a way. I went into the profession initially thinking that, I was going to save them all. I'm exaggerating, but, when you have kids that are sad, you think, okay, I'm going to show them a lot of empathy. I'm going to spend a lot of extra time with that kid. I'm going to, hang out with them. If they're welcome after school, I'm going to spend extra time trying to teach them, even going after my own hours. And then realizing that afterwards that these kids, a lot of times it was just really not worth the investment. You put a lot of time into it, and then they'd get back into class and still be disruptive, still be unkind, still not care whether their classmates were learning or not. And so I think what teachers need to do is just do their job, teach the subject really well, but really just realize that we teachers cannot do everything, and we need the parents to help us to follow up. Make sure that things get done there. So I think it's not a bad idea to have a report card for parents that teachers fill out. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you think you're a good parent. How's it going with your kids? Are they doing their work? Do you think you're following up enough? And if you're a student or a kid yourself, do you think you have good parents? Are your parents following up on your work, or are they just showing up only to cheer at your hockey games for an hour, but they don't actually cheer you on as you're doing your work? Yes, there are those kinds of parents. Let me know. Thank you for being here. Coming up on screen are going to be a bunch of other videos. Click on them. Be curious. There's over 2,100 videos on this channel. And let me know what kind of subjects you want me to talk about. And of course, don't forget to stay vegan. I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.